oh boy, all the last Switch 2 news we're about to go over has me feeling a bit like this.
This deal is getting worse all the time.
As Nintendo has now confirmed 3 things that Switch 2 will not have, and it's not great. But we do have some okay news at the end here, so stay tuned for something slightly optimistic about Mario Kart World. But for now, let's get to the really bad news, and we gotta start off with what might be the worst one of them all. As Nintendo has confirmed that the Joy-Cons, and I presume the Pro Controllers too, though we only know the Joy-Cons for sure right now, will not feature Hall effect sticks. So basically, Hall effect sticks, in case you don't know, are magnetic-based control sticks, meaning there's much less wear and tear on them due to fewer moving parts colliding with each other. So if you've used a Switch 1 for any amount of time more than a few weeks, you've probably experienced the dreaded Joy-Con drift, which has haunted 8 of my Joy-Cons now, in which your joystick thinks it's moving one way when you're not pressing anything at all, and it can completely screw up how you play games. It is one of the worst things Nintendo has ever done with a controller, or hasn't done, I guess, by not using Hall effect sticks. And apparently that's continuing, at least with the Joy-Cons. Now, Nintendo did say, and specifically Nate Bildorf, who specifically also voices Shy Guy, by the way, he says that, who works for Nintendo, he says, well, the Joy-Con 2 controllers have been redesigned from the ground up. They're not Hall effect sticks, but they feel really good. Now, unfortunately, Nate, it's not the feel of the sticks that's a problem, it's the input they're sending to the Switch. So I'm sure they feel great, but the concern still remains of whether they're going to wear down over time and send false inputs to the Switch. So we'll have to wait and see, but that is really disappointing to hear. That honestly sucks a lot. So let's hope that they work better than not, or than they did before at least, but man, that's disappointing. Anyways, moving on. The next unfortunate story, for a lot of people at least, Nintendo confirms the Switch 2 will not have achievements. When asked, Bill Trinen simply stated, nope. So that confirms that Switch 2 will not have system-wide achievements. Now we do know games can obviously support it on a per-game basis, such as the Zelda, or the Switch 2 editions of Zelda Breath of the Wild and Zelda Tears of the Kingdom, which is all the more weird that they're adding them, retroactively to a game, but not having a system-wide, way of tracking them. It doesn't make much sense to me, and it feels like if you're going to add them, especially to your retro games, like now's the time to have an OS level achievement system. I mean, I don't even care about achievements all that much, but I feel like this is just weird by not having a system here. So, I don't know, another disappointing thing perhaps, but anyways, not a huge deal, but again, it's just weird that they're introducing achievements with no system-wide system for it. Beyond that though, this will probably affect more people, or annoy more people. Nintendo has confirmed there is no eShop music. Yes, the eShop will be just as silent, in general at least, as on Switch. However, that's not entirely true, as one of the reasons Nintendo gave for this is that, according to the Nintendo Switch 2 producer, unlike back then, I presumably on the Wii U and 3DS, unlike back then, the eShop now has lots of videos that are showcasing the games. We didn't want to intrude on that, so we don't have music there. My answer to that, though, is you can just have the music fade in and out. Tons of other systems have done this, or, OSs. So just have music when there's nothing playing, then fade it out when there is music playing. It happens all the time on my Android phone when I hop from one app to the next. If I'm playing background music, it fades out when I'm playing a video somewhere else. So there you go, more lack of personality on the eShop front. Anyways, I'm not going to belabor the point too much. You guys can take it as it is. Let's get to the potential good news here, and that is with an interview with IGN with Bill Trinen again. They did comment on a couple of interesting things. One, before we get to this quote I highlighted, Bill confirms that at least on some tracks, you will be able to race in the classic 3-track format, which is that. Because everything we've seen so far seems to be like a point-to-point system, where every track seems to be based almost as like a, treated as like a one-lap track from Mario Kart 8. But Bill does confirm that some tracks, and I assume the ones that are based on classic Mario Kart tracks, and not the one-lap tracks, that you can race apparently with 3 laps on them. That's good news. Beyond that though, is something even more exciting that because we were talking recently about, could there be a single player campaign in this game, or at least more to do in the open world? And luckily Bill did say that after having read IGN's article on it, and there being kind of a barren open world, Bill said specifically that I read your article this morning, and I think you had mentioned that you didn't find a lot to discover when roaming around. So I would say stay tuned for our Mario Kart Direct to see what maybe you'll be able to find out about that. So yes, that actually makes me really excited, because why have a giant open world if there's nothing to do in it? And apparently it sounds like there will be. In what exact form, we don't know. Maybe little Easter eggs or some collectibles out there. Maybe a full story mode campaign, as I suggested in our discussion. I'm hoping for that, but in any case, I'm excited to see what they have announced here in that upcoming Mario Kart Direct, which I believe is that next week? I should have confirmed before recording this. It's not too far away, though. In any case, everyone, that's the news for you. What do you think of this? Are you disappointed in the things missing here? I mean, again, the Switch, like, not bolstering your biggest problem with the Joy-Cons by using Hall effect sticks is like such a mistake, you know? I don't know. The no music and the no achievements, like, it's just all bad news today, really. I don't know. It's weird. The Switch 2 whole rollout's been a little weird, and I'm sure we'll have more to say about that soon enough. In any case, everyone, we'll link to all these stories below if you want to check them out for yourself. Again, thank you for watching. Let us know in the comments what you think, and we'll catch you later. Bye, everyone.